Welcome to Light Her Up, your go-to podcast for exploring what it means to align with your passions and create a life filled with freedom, ease, and fulfillment. I'm your host, Natalie Bernacchi, a mom, entrepreneur, and certified coach who left a 15-year corporate career to build a life aligned with my passions and help other women do the same. We'll be diving deep into topics like self-discovery, mindset shifts, and the courage to pursue the life you've always dreamed of. Thank you for being here and for prioritizing yourself. I'm honored to be a part of your journey. If you're ready to find your joy, reclaim your identity, and upgrade your life, you're in the right place. Now let's light it up. Hello, my loves, and welcome back to another episode of Light Her Up. This is my first solo episode of 2026, and I really wanted to start this year with a conversation that represents a big shift in how I'm showing up and moving forward. Not just for the CEO Besties, the business that I co-founded with my business partner, Emily, not only for my own personal business, but for myself, for my clients, and for all of you listening. This year is about me fully merging the decades of experience that I have from my corporate career in customer success with my life as an entrepreneur. I'm taking everything I built, learned, tested, and mastered over all those years, and I'm bringing it into the work I do now in a way that actually serves the women that I support. And this episode specifically is for you if you've ever poured your heart into selling an offer, you've launched a program, you've welcomed people in, and then you're thinking to yourself, wait, now what do I do? Because that moment right there is where so many businesses start leaking energy. They start leaking revenue and even confidence. And it's also where so much opportunity gets missed. So if you're listening and you're building a membership, a program, or a service, and you want clients who stay, not just clients who buy, or maybe you're tired of feeling like you have to constantly sell to feel safe in your business. I know I've been there. Or you want recurring revenue that actually feels steady, predictable, sustainable, then you're exactly where you meant to be for this conversation. In today's episode, I'm going to be diving into why 2026 feels different for me and what I'm intentionally leaning into this year. You'll be able to take actionable takeaways. What customer success actually is, explained in normal human language, not corporate jargon that honestly most people don't understand. I didn't understand it until I was actually in the industry myself. And why retention, onboarding, and renewals are the pieces that make recurring revenue actually work. So grab your coffee, take me on your walk or on your drive, and let's dive right in. So before we dive into today's episode, I want to share something important. This year, we had the privilege of supporting 32 powerhouse women inside of our Rocket Ship Mastermind. We watched them go from building in the cracks of their day to owning their time, gaining real momentum, and stepping into their next level. And because we've had so many women across the country ask for a way to be a part of this community, we created something brand new. Welcome to the Launchpad Society. This is our virtual membership for the woman who is ready to stop treating her business like a side project and start treating it like a real business. It is for the woman with a full life who wants clean strategy, clear direction, systems that support her, and a community that will keep her consistent. Inside the Launchpad, you will follow the same proven framework we used with our Rocket Ship founders. You will build your foundation, get clear on your offers, create a personal brand that feels like you, learn marketing and visibility strategies that actually work, sell with confidence, and create systems that support consistent revenue. Most importantly, you will finally feel supported instead of doing this alone. Whether you are juggling a 9-to-5, raising kids, or growing a business between your 9-to-5, school drop-offs, and dinner, or squeezing this in between multiple jobs or in the cracks of your day, this is where you step into CEO mode without burning out. If this feels like your next step, get on the wait list. Founders pricing is only available to the women on that list, and the link is in the show notes. We'll see you on the Launchpad. So I kicked off this podcast for 2026 with a bonus episode with Emily, my co-founder and the CEO besties. And I felt like it was the perfect way to start 2026. It was fun, it was reflective, and it was honestly so comical. Our kids barged in on us on both sides of the mic, literally right at the beginning of the episode. And we were like, wait, should we like pause and edit that out? And I was like, no, let's just keep it real. This is our real life. And like, honestly, our clients, for the most part, are moms doing the same thing. And so we're with you. We feel you. Just know that. We talked about everything. We learned building the CEO besties, launching Rocket Ship Mastermind, creating our newest creation, our newest baby, the Launchpad Society, which is a virtual membership for female entrepreneurs building a business, and what actually works when you're building alongside so many women that are also in this real life with you. You know, like not the ones that you see on Instagram that seem like they have it all together and everything's perfect. No, like the ones that are working a corporate 9 to 5 and have a side hustle, or the stay at home mom who has a passion project that they want to turn into an actual real business. But today's episode is different. Today isn't about recapping the past. It is really about the clarity that I received last year as I was building and I was working with my own clients and all of the women in our mastermind. It's about a realization that's changing how I'm personally building this year and what I'm doubling down on in my business and how I can help the women and businesses that I serve. So, as I got to the end of 2025, so just a couple weeks ago, I had to be really, really honest with myself. I previously had spent over 15 years in corporate life working really, really hard, climbing, building, leading teams, and performing at such a high level that often led to extreme burnout and insurmountable amounts of stress. And when I stepped away from that world, I didn't immediately know what was next. I needed time. I needed real time to decompress from that life. In fact, I needed like a full year to really step back, give myself time to let my nervous system calm down. I needed space to separate productivity from my self worth. I needed to remember who I was outside of external validation from my boss, from the people who I reported into, and having to ask for permission to take time off to be with my kids. I still can't believe I had to do that. It's so wild to me. But honestly, it was the best thing I ever did. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know that I reached corporate burnout big time. And I quit my job over a year ago to dive fully into my passion, which was helping other women entrepreneurs literally do the same thing, to build businesses that light them up and support the life they want to live. Hence the podcast name, Light Her Up. And last year was great. I was doing something different than I had ever done in my life. I genuinely loved it, and I still genuinely love it. But even more than that, it gave me so much clarity on what I actually want, and clarity on what parts of me were ready to come back. I didn't even really know what the word clarity meant before I took this last year to do what I did, because now that I look back, I feel like I was always sort of clouded, or that clarity was sort of in the peripheral because I was too busy living someone else's dream and building someone else's dream. And now I can fully comprehend what that word means. And damn, it feels really freaking good to have that clarity. I also saw so many women in our mastermind achieve that level of clarity. And it was so, so amazing to have a front row seat to that. So I know so many of you can relate to that moment where you step away from something really intense, something that you think you're done with forever, only to realize later that you weren't done with that work. You were just done with how it was structured. So I started building the Rocket Ship Mastermind with Emily. We worked closely with 32 women. And then I had another 7 women in another mastermind that I was leading. So there were 39 different female entrepreneurs that I worked with last year. And designing the Launchpad Society virtual membership That all helped me notice something. I was using skills I hadn't fully flexed in a while. And I remember so Emily and I went to this Instagram mini chat conference in downtown LA. It was in the fall of 2025, so a couple months ago. And we joined some of the business breakout sessions. It was actually a really great conference. I wasn't sure what to expect, but if they do it again, I would totally go. But they had these breakout sessions where they had a bunch of different tables and little tents with topics on all the tables, and you just picked a table to sit down at. Well, Emily and I showed up, like when we actually got in the room, it was totally full. There was standing room only. So I just stood around the first table that I saw. I just stood like right behind the person sitting down. And the topic was all about memberships and recurring revenue. And I remember hearing the conversations at the table and it just felt so natural, so organic for me to jump in and start talking about it. It felt like second nature. And it just happened again so organically. And the business owners at the table were leaving with real value, with advice that I was offering. And they were so thankful that this complete stranger that they met at this conference was just offering all of this information about how to retain your clients and best practices. And I remember Emily looking at me and saying something like, wow, I've never seen that side of you, or like, oh my gosh, you're in your element, you know? And after that, it really hit me. I remember like having this epiphany when I was driving home. And I was like, that felt so good. It felt so good to even be back in the game for like that 15 to 30 minutes at that conference. And I remembered, like, I'm really, really good at what I did and how much that is applicable to what I do now. Everything in my 15-year career led to where I'm at. I built departments from scratch. I created processes from nothing. I tested, failed, adjusted, tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and tried again. I worked with customers ranging from like literally mom and pop shops. They were sometimes solopreneurs, all the way up to enterprise level global organizations. I learned that different customers have very different needs, very different expectations and definitions of success. And that understanding that is everything when you're building something that's meant to last. That experience became incredibly helpful when I started building my own business and helping my clients build theirs. So here's what I didn't miss. I didn't miss corporate. I didn't miss working for someone else, but I really did miss the work. I missed the strategy. I missed building systems that help keep clients coming back for more. I missed getting inside a business and helping it grow from the inside out. I loved building. I loved setting it up. I loved crafting the customer experience and watching it actually work. So I asked myself a simple question. How do I do what I'm really good at without giving up my autonomy? And that's when fractional clicked. If you've never heard the term fractional just means that you're not a full-time employee. You're bringing your expertise into a business part-time to help them build, help them optimize, and strengthen what they need without being a W-2 employee, without essentially being owned by that company. Because I do have this deep startup experience, so it made so much sense to me. Startups live in that space where maybe they're not quite ready to hire someone on full time to run, design, build, manage that department, but they are building quickly. They're testing, they're adjusting, they're iterating, they're creating systems that actually work to support the growth phase of business that they're in. And as they grow and scale, those systems will evolve, but you need to have a system in place that will scale and evolve as your business does. And I also realized that I could bring this work more boldly into my existing offers. So into the CEO Besties, the Rocket Ship Mastermind, and the Launchpad Society membership that we have, and into my work with one-on-one clients. Customer success and that whole system from onboarding to renewal is so important, especially in a recurring revenue model. So if you have a membership, subscription-based model. It's so, so, so important. I can help my clients design I can help solopreneurs nail onboarding that ensures their customers see the values of services. I can help solopreneurs nail their onboarding that ensures their customers see the value of their services from day one. I can help my customers design a customer experience. My God. I can help my clients design a customer experience that actually supports their clients. I can help them build simple systems so people don't slip through the cracks. And when I zoomed out, I realized this really wasn't a pivot at all. It was something that already fit into what I'm doing. It was just an evolution of what I'm already building. So I want to backtrack a little because I know a lot of my audience didn't come from corporate or the tech world. So let's slow this down and talk a little bit more like, human to human, not corporate person to corporate person. So, customer success is not customer service. Like, that is the number one thing that I think when I'm explaining to someone what customer success is, or let me take that back. If I don't explain it and I just say customer success, they think I'm just talking about like customer service. Like when you call a company and they answer the phone and they're like, thank you for calling XYZ company. How can I help you today? Or like customer support when you're chatting someone like on a help desk. And like, while yes, those components are elements under the umbrella of customer success at its core really is helping your clients actually get the result that they signed up for. It's making sure that they use what they bought. It's making sure that they understand it and they apply it. And most importantly, that they see the value early and they see it consistently. Customer success sort of lives between the sales. So, like, once a new sale is made, delivery. So, you're delivering on all of their products and services that they signed up for, and retention, which simply means keeping the clients. So, I guess you could describe customer success as literally everything that happens after someone says yes and joins your world. It is everything from onboarding, meaning what happens right after someone signs up, adoption, which simply means are they actually going to use the program or service that they purchased? It includes relationship management. And if you've listened to this podcast before, you know that I believe this deeply. We are all in the business of building relationships, especially in service based businesses. Successful business owners do not treat their clients like transactions. They care, they listen, and they stay connected to their clients. It includes retention strategy and minimizing churn, meaning how you're intentionally keeping clients and not churning them out or losing them. You're not just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing if it sticks, which honestly, so many of us in our first few years of business do. It includes renewals and expansion. Like, do you have a clear, supportive path for clients to continue with you or grow into that next level? And by the way, I know a lot of memberships and subscriptions do auto renewals, but auto renew does not guarantee renewals. You still need a renewal strategy with an auto renewal model. It includes feedback loops because if you don't know what your clients need, want, or what they're struggling with, then you're guessing. And I am not here for creating things for the sake of creating things if there isn't a need for it in the market or if it's not going to be valuable for the people who I'm serving. Customer success also includes spotting red flags early. Customer success is very proactive. What are the clients who renew? What are they doing differently than the clients who don't renew? Where do the people in your process and your customer journey, where do they disengage? How can you intervene before it's too late and you lose them for good? All of this work It protects your revenue, it protects your company reputation, it also fuels referrals, and it creates growing, predictable monthly income. And isn't that what we're all after when creating a business and wanting to make revenue? So I think when we hear the term customer success, we think it's some corporate thing that's just for big companies. But honestly, that couldn't be farther from the truth. It is critical for solopreneurs, coaches, membership owners, subscription based businesses, any company, any type of business, regardless of size, that has a recurring revenue model. If you sell a membership, a program, a retainer, or any recurring offer, customer success needs to be built in from day one. And here's why. You can sell all day long, but what happens after someone joining actually matters more. And I do feel like this is where a lot of entrepreneurs and early stage founders get it wrong. Real revenue comes from renewals and retention, again, meaning people stay and continue to spend money with you. Revenue comes from expansion, meaning your customers grow with you. Existing clients are easier to keep than new ones are to acquire. Hands down, any company I've ever worked with all day, every day, renewals are easier because you're working with existing clients. They already know you. They already trust you. They already believe in your work. When they receive value from you, their lifetime value increases. They then refer you out to their friends and families, other businesses, and your revenue compounds month over month, year over year. And this is how businesses actually grow. Think about it. What's the point if you're really good at selling? You get a bunch of clients, but then you just lose them all after the first month or the first year, whatever your subscription model is based off of, if you're doing monthly renewals or annual renewals. You're essentially just bleeding money. The first year in an annual subscription model or the first month of a monthly subscription model is always going to be the most expensive. For any business, I don't care what business, what industry, it's going to be the most expensive because it costs more to acquire that customer. You're spending money on marketing, most likely. You're spending money on salespeople or some sort of strategy to bring these customers in. Then the cost to onboard the customer, to train them, to nurture them, just naturally takes more time, which in turn costs more money. So renewing customers is crucial for any business that wants to grow. And this is exactly why this work has become such a big part of how I support clients now and what I'll be doing in 2026. Because once you see how much effort goes into bringing someone into your world, you realize how important it is to make sure that they actually stay. So I help solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, and startups with memberships, subscriptions, or any kind of recurring revenue model. My work focuses on increasing retention, meaning you're keeping your clients, you're increasing lifetime value, and your clients are staying longer and they're growing with you. And reducing churn, meaning fewer customers are leaving. So, for the woman listening who's in a building season right now, especially if you're starting or growing a membership and things feel unclear or chaotic behind the scenes, that's often the moment where customer success becomes the missing piece. This season is showing you that building recurring revenue isn't just about the offer. It's about the experience that comes after someone joins. So here's your challenge for the week. Look at what happens after someone joins your world. That might look like mapping your onboarding steps or noticing where a client gets confused, where they might get disengaged. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be intentional and to bring your awareness to where that's happening so you can do something about it. And just pick one piece. Just take that one small step and DM me when you do. I'd even love to offer and take a look at your customer journey and help you pick that step if you need help. So just let me know. I'd love to celebrate you. I'd love to help you and support you. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope that this episode resonated and I hope that it started to get the wheels turning a bit because a lot of times we don't think about customer success as a priority, but it really is. So I hope this episode spoke to you. If it did, I would so appreciate it if you could share. And I can't wait to catch you on the next episode. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Light Her Up. I hope you're feeling inspired and ready to take steps towards a life better than you ever dreamed. I see you, I hear you, and I'm so proud of you for showing up and prioritizing your journey. When you fill up your cup with love, you can pour so much more into the people and passions that matter to you most. If this episode resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you subscribed, left a review, and shared it with someone who could use a little extra light. For more, connect with me on Instagram at The Light Within Collective. I'm sending you my love, and I'll catch you on the next episode.